Good morning. Welcome to Heart and Soul Center of Light. My name is Felicia Williams Cozy, and I am a licensed practitioner at Heart and Soul, and I'm honored to be facilitating our meditation experience this morning. This morning, we are taking the opportunity to immerse ourselves in stillness so that we may connect with the knower within in order that it be our guide during this time of change. Wherever you are, I invite you to make yourself comfortable so that you may be open to divine guidance. Know that right where you are, God is, and therefore it is a safe and sacred space. So if you are willing, I invite you to gently allow your eyes to close and take this opportunity to relax and let go of all that has transpired up until this moment. Join me in taking a deep, conscious breath. Breathe in and release with a sigh. Now give thanks for your breath as you gently allow it to return to its natural rhythm. Take a moment now to notice the path your breath takes through your body. While the path our breath takes, like each of us, is unique, every breath is a part of the one breath which is breathing us all. Let your breath be an ever-present reminder of your oneness with Spirit and its ever availability as a guide and source of inner peace, love, and clarity, regardless of outer circumstances. As we enter the stillness, remember to focus on your breath, and I offer this affirmation as our guide. I have been that I have been. I am that I am, and I will be what I will be simultaneously. I have been that I have been. I am that I am. And I will be what I will be simultaneously. I now invite you to return your awareness to the space that you are in. To do this, you might focus on your feet and notice and feel the support of the floor underneath. You might gently rub your palms together and begin to expand your awareness and feel the space around you. And when you are ready, I invite you to gently allow your eyes to open. This completes our meditation experience this morning. And so it is. Thank you for creating this safe and sacred container of love for our service. We have a wonderful opportunity during these times to spend more time being still and renewing our connection with the One. And I invite you to do so whenever and wherever possible. It has been a pleasure and an honor to facilitate this morning's meditation. Thank you.
Good morning, heart and soul. Welcome to our virtual Sunday service. Today is Sunday, March 7th. My name is Sonia Russell, and it is my great pleasure to be here welcoming you and letting you know how you can be more fully engaged at Heart and Soul Center of Lights on this beautiful first Sunday in March. I want to begin by making sure you know that our theme for 2021 is Adventures in Faith, Rise Up. Our daily read is around the year with Emmett Fox. We're inviting you to stay connected in all the ways there are to stay connected, including visiting our website, following us on Facebook, subscribing on YouTube, following us on Instagram and Twitter, and in all the ways in which you podcast. I want to remind you that we will have an opportunity to give in community later on in service, but you can give anytime by visiting heartsoulcenter.org/give, or you can text to give. You can also sign up for our recap and get lots of great information right in your email box weekly. And I want to remind you that we are continuing to be steeped in our community affirmation. Thank you for everything. I have no complaint whatsoever. Our Heart and Soul practitioners, our In Around the Year with Emmett Fox book study, and it begins, my apologies family, it begins at 6:15 Pacific time, and is you can join by visiting heartsoulcenter.org/Monday Review and be a part of a community of folks who are diving deeper and getting all the juice out of Around the Year with Emmett Fox. On Wednesdays, we are Imagining Justice with Valerie Joy and David. This week, it's Disabled but Not Really, taking a look at our quote-unquote disabled community and identifying ways that we can support and empower. We continue to be the ones we are waiting for, family, and you can join Imagining Justice by visiting heartsoulcenter.org/Imagining Justice. And are you thinking about becoming a member at Heart and Soul Center of Light? You should join our path to membership. Y'all know I like being a member, but we have some other folks who are going to tell you about why they are members of Heart and Soul.
All right, so on behalf of Reverend Angelo, I want to invite you to consider being a part of our next Path to Membership experience. But to further entice you and to give you a little bit more incentive, we've asked some folks to give you some testimonials about what membership means to them.
Membership at Heart and Soul
keeps me focused on bringing forth a world that works for everyone. I'm in community with people who are doing the work, and that supports me in doing my own work, and I'm grateful.
Membership in Heart and Soul means to me.
All right, so on behalf of Reverend Angelo, I want to invite you to consider being a part of our next Path to Membership experience. But to further entice you and to give you a little bit more incentive, we've asked some folks to give you some testimonials about what membership means to them.
Membership at Heart and Soul keeps me focused on bringing forth a world that works for everyone. I'm in community with people who are doing the work, and that supports me in doing my own work, and I'm grateful.
Membership in Heart and Soul means to me is a extended family that I can talk to, communicate with, just be together outside of my immediate family that helps me whenever I need help. They're there if, even to feed me when I'm in and around. It's just been a great joy to be around the last 3 years I've been here.
What membership at Heart and Soul does for me, it allows me to be me, exactly who I am. Finally, I'm seen at Heart and Soul. It's a place where I've grown phenomenally. It's a place where I get unconditional love and support. It's a place like no other, and I've been here 11 years, and it's been awesome, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
So what membership at Heart and Soul means to me is an opportunity to serve and be served. It's an opportunity to be a member of a family that is doing, wonderful things in the world, doing what we can do to make this a world that works for everyone. What can I say other than, I love you, Heart and Soul.
So for me, Heart and Soul is a rock. It is a foundation that has provided stability for my spirit. It allows me to venture out into the world and stand firmly in who I am and what I believe. Heart and Soul really is, when I say a foundation, like I see a storm blowing and I see something that I can hold on to that gives me strength. It uplifts my faith. It deepens my faith. And we hecka cool up in here. So we have a wonderful time and we have fun while we grow spiritually.
So there you've heard it from members of our community, some of whom have been around for a whole 11 years and some for less time. And for all of us, Heart and Soul Center of Light is not just a place to be, it's a way to be. And so we're inviting you to join us on March 20th, Saturday, March 20th, and Saturday, March 27th, back-to-back weeks for our Path to Membership experience. Come for the fun, stay to learn what Heart and Soul is for you.
Yes, family, come and become a part of our community. And I want to let you know that Prosperity Plus is upon us. Living Full Spectrum Wealth, Prosperity Plus 3. In fact, this is one of my favorite classes. I adore this class. This is by renowned spiritual teacher and best-selling author Mary Morrissey. It is 8 classes, essentially. Starts with a an orientation session, and then it's the following 7 weeks. Begins on April 3rd at 10 a.m. It's a Saturday class. There is no registration fee. The textbook is Working with the Law by Raymond Hollowell. You will have to have the materials, either the online or the physical kit. It is being presented by the fabulous practitioner, Janice Richmond. She's facilitating it. Janice not only is a practitioner here at Heart and Soul, she is also one of trained as one of Mary Morrissey's coaches as well. So she is absolutely fantastic. This is going to be a fantastic class. Create a life you truly love living is the opportunity here, family. So we invite you to sign up. We will have a registration link. We should have had a registration link. Forgive me, family. I will make sure that you have a registration link at the end of service today. Prayer works. We want to make sure that you get all that you can out of prayer, because we know that it has absolutely transforms our lives. There's prayer available 10 minutes after the conclusion of our Sunday service, as well as at 7 a.m. on Wednesday mornings at 7 a.m. Pacific time. We have a brand new prayer request line. You can leave a message at 510-607-7747, and a prayer practitioner will return your call. You can also email your prayer request to prayerandcare@heartsoulcenter.org. Also, we are in our Pop Heart and Soul's Power of Prayer for such a time as this. This is our new Power of Prayer podcast, where you can have prayer in your pocket, family, 24/7, 365. Visit anchor.fm/Heart Soul Center to access that. And I want to make sure that we let you know that Alameda County has been reaching out to let you know there are some vaccines available with different sort of restrictions. I'm inviting you to look into this information. There are free COVID vaccines available at True Vine Ministries. You have to call to make an appointment. So call, get all the details, but they're doing it today as well as at the end of March. So make sure that you get in there. There may also be some vaccines available at the West Oakland Senior Center. The goal here, family, is just to ensure that vaccines are not going wasted. So they're making appointments for folks and making sure that the vaccines are actually getting used. So do your research, look into these two organizations, True Vine Ministries, as well as the West Oakland Senior Center. And because it's the first Sunday, I am very excited to welcome our Prayer and Care Village.
Warmest greetings, Heart and Soul family. My name is Sheila Smith, and I am the co-lead for the Prayer and Care Ministry, and I am a prayer facilitator. I trust that many of you know the power of prayer and that prayer works. Prayer and Care's sacred service to our community is consistent prayer in times of celebration, in times of challenge, transition, and change. We offer what we call laser prayer. It's confidential, it's short, it's focused, it's intentional prayer to support you in knowing the truth through any situation, to align you with your intention for well-being. We offer 4 prayer rooms 10 minutes after every Sunday service and at 7 a.m. Pacific time on Wednesday mornings. Additionally, we are providing on-demand laser prayer through Power of Prayer podcast, available on Anchor, Spotify, iTunes, or your favorite podcast platform. You can also reach us online at prayerandcare@heartsoulcenter.org. We're excited to introduce our new call-in prayer line. Now you can call in a prayer at any time, any hour from any time zone, and a prayer facilitator, like myself, will respond to you within 24 hours. If you have a birthday in the month of March, we're so happy to celebrate with you. We invite you to take in this affirmation from Ernest Holmes. Life lies open to me, rich, full, and abundant. And from Heart and Soul Center of Light, we say to you, beloveds, we know who you are. You are the beloved of God, and we celebrate your light. You are blessed this day with radiant health, expanding abundance, loving relationships, and wisdom, courage, and strength to be all that you are. We love you. We appreciate you. And we thank God for you. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, March babies. So, family, that brings us to our vision. And so I invite you to be present in this moment. Our vision is how we endeavor to show up in the world. And so we like to make sure that we are grounded in it. And so we recite it together, family. We are a loving and compassionate, world-class teaching and empowerment ministry. Through a consciousness of universal God presence, we release all resistance, separation, and fear. We claim our personal liberation and accept the eternal availability of joy, love, and abundance. Through our intention to be love and spread joy, we engender reflections of the same and more in others. Our ministry is a gift to the world, which expands through our practice and dedication. We welcome all people, and together we make a quantifiable, positive difference on the planet. And so it is. And so, family, at this time, I invite you to be fully present in this moment, finding your breath, putting down all it took to get to this moment. You can always pick it back up later, giving no concern to all the things that need to happen after this time, simply allowing yourself to be here now, fully present in this moment. This moment where we know that God is all that there is. All that there ever has been in God, all that there ever will be is God. This moment, this absolute perfect moment, is steeped with the infinite. Here is where we recognize our oneness with the one. The present moment is our opportunity to allow ourselves to be fully connected, fully present, fully available to the infinite. Always present, closer than our very breath, God. I rest, rule, and abide in the knowing that God is all there is. I trust this. I am deeply rooted in this faith. God is all there is. No matter how it looks, no matter how it seems, God is all there is. And from this place of knowing and trusting, I speak my word on behalf of my beloved Heart and Soul Center of Light community. Knowing, trusting, remembering to remember that God is all that there is. The goodness of the infinite is present in our lives, in our breath, in our very existence. The goodness of God is. And so today and every day, we have the opportunity to remember that God is, that we are, and that all is truly well. And so I am giving thanks for the knowing of our health and wellness. I am giving thanks for the knowing of our prosperity and abundance. I'm giving thanks for the knowing that we are one, that God is always working it out. Our opportunity is to simply know this, to trust it, to allow ourselves to be wrapped in the warm blanket of worthiness that is the perfection of the infinite. I am grateful. I am grateful for this community. I am grateful for all the hearts and the hands that support it, for our practitioners and our ministers, our board, our beloved founding spiritual leader, Reverend Andriette, for being fearless and faithful. I am grateful for every person here and beyond, because that's 7 billion ways to know God, and I am grateful for the divine expression of the infinite in all of its magnificent ways. And I am grateful, family, today and every day for the good sense to be grateful. And it is in this perfect gratitude that I release my word into the law. I know that it is done. I trust that it is so, now and forever. And so it is.
Good morning and good day, heart and soul. For those of you whom I haven't yet had the pleasure of meeting, my name is Reverend Angelo Allen. I'm a staff minister here at Heart and Soul Center of Light. And for those of you whom I haven't seen for a year, well, it's good to be seen in this moment. So thank you for being here. Today, I have the extreme pleasure of introducing our guest speaker for today, Tracy Brown. And Tracy is no stranger to Heart and Soul, and she is certainly no stranger to Centers for Spiritual Living. Let me tell you a little bit about Tracy. Tracy Brown is the author of more than a dozen books, including her most recent, Stained Glass Spirit, Becoming a Spiritual Community Where Oneness Does Not Require Sameness. Tracy is a nationally recognized expert on diversity and inclusion, and she is the founder and moderator of a Facebook group where every day more than 7,000 members ask themselves, what is mine to do to end or interrupt race-based hatred and violence? Within Centers for Spiritual Living, Tracy is an active teacher, speaker, and leader. She served 3 years as chair of the governing board of Centers for Spiritual Living worldwide on the Leadership Council, and Tracy is the only practitioner ever to be awarded the Ernest Holmes Award. She currently volunteers with the CSL World Ministry of Prayer and the Science of Mind Foundation. And so in just a moment, we'll hear our musical inspiration for this morning, and then the very next voice you hear will be our minister, Tracy Brown.
Run, Mary, run. Run, Mary, run, I said. Run, Mary, run. I've got a right to the tree of life. Way over in Beulah land. Way over in Beulah land. We're gonna have a good time way over in Beulah land. Wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Way over in the waterland, way over in the waterland, we're gonna have a good time. God's gonna over in the waterland, way over in the waterland, way over in the waterland, we're gonna have Where's got trouble with the water? way over in the wonderland, way over in the wonderland, way in the time. God's got no trouble in the wonderland, way over in the wonderland, way over in the wonderland, way in the time. God's got no trouble in the wonderland. You've got a right to the tree of life. We've got a right to the tree of life.
Good morning, Heart and Soul family. I just love your theme, Adventures in Faith. Rise up. And in February, there was a lot of rising up by really connecting in with Black History Month. And there was some rising up in love because of the focus on Valentine's Day. And toward the end of the month, we began rising up as we began to look at the season for peace and nonviolence. And of course, the season for peace and nonviolence continues lifting us into our spiritual magnificence in March. And many of you automatically think, all right, it's March. Let's rise up in March with Women's History Month. But I was curious about some of the other holidays and celebrations and things that we focus on in March that also give us an opportunity to rise up. And there were dozens when I went to look, but I'm just going to highlight a few of them that I think really do give us the opportunity to rise up in our learning, rise up in our loving, rise up in our way of being spiritual in the world. There's the United Nations International Day for Eliminating Racism, and that's in March. There is the Read Across America initiative that is always a big thing in March. And reading and its importance in our lives is so much a part of us, our learning and our expanding the nature of spirit into physical form. There's also National Poetry Day, and isn't poetry a form of expressing that often encourages us or inspires us to rise up beyond the false limitations that we get comfortable with? There's also the spring equinox, which many of us celebrate and use as a transition point in terms of moving from what has been into the next season of our lives. And at the end of the month, there's Cesar Chavez Day, and it reminds us to pay attention to the impact of struggle and to constantly be focusing on bringing forward the best of everyone, bringing forward justice and respect for all people. So as we rise up together during the month of March, there is so much that we have the opportunity to focus on and to think about and to use, right? To use as part of our spiritual practice, to use as part of the tools that we use to navigate our lives. And all of it really is an adventure in faith. I recently watched an audition for American Idol, and the young woman who was auditioning was still in her teens. I think she was either 18 or 19. And she grew up raised by a single mother who did not have a lot of financial resources. Often her mother worked more than one job, but even in doing that, there were many periods in her life, in this young girl's life growing up, where she experienced constraints about money or having access. There were times when she was unsheltered. There were times when she and her mother lived from a car or stayed a few days at a friend or relative's home because they didn't have their own home. And this young woman, many would say, came from an unstable home, or maybe some would jump to a conclusion that she had an unfit mother. But there she was, auditioning for American Idol. Now, it's Women's History Month, right? And here she was making tomorrow's history today. And that really struck me that I could be watching the midwifing of someone who is on Broadway or someone who becomes a multi-million-dollar recording artist, that because she was willing to rise up, here she was really creating her future, creating her history, or the history that is tomorrow's history. And like so many young women like her, she didn't know how it was going to work. She didn't really know if she would get selected. She didn't know any of that, but she knew she had to take her shot. She knew that she had to rely on this voice within her that was propelling her into this competition without being concerned about what someone else might sing or what other talent a different person might share. That she was doing this to follow her intuition, her inner knowing of knowing that she had this amazing talent and that she wanted to share her talent with the world. I bet you can think of other women who at different stages of their lives have followed that call to rise up beyond physical or human circumstance and use that talent, use that gift within them in some way to show up as only they could show up. Ruth Bader Ginsburg is a great example. I'm sure she never knew she was going to be a Supreme Court justice, but she knew that she had as much talent or more than many of the men around her, and she kept going forward. She spoke her mind. She found a partner who supported her and who saw her brilliance as well and agreed it should not be hidden behind some false limitation. Beyonce is a good example. She didn't know she was going to be Queen Bey, Queen Bee. She didn't know that. She didn't know that she would be a one-word person. She was destined, one of Destiny's children, right? She was a Destiny's Child singer in a group. She knew she had talent. She had dreams of being big and making a lot of money, but she didn't know she was going to be the phenomenon that she has become, or the cultural icon that she has become. Amanda Gorman, just beginning to make history. But as she was writing poetry, or as she was learning to manage her speech impediment, she didn't know that she was going to be the youngest inaugural poet to date, but she trusted the guidance that came from within. And what about Iyanla Vanzant? Iyanla Vanzant did not know when she was struggling with the after effects of incest and when she had young children and was on public assistance, and when she began studying from a spiritual perspective, she didn't know that she was going to be Iyanla, right? She didn't know that, but she never turned away from connecting her physical experience into alignment with her spiritual truth. J.K. Rowling. How many book publishers said, no, there's not a market for your book? She knew she had creativity at work. She could see the story. She could hear the dialogue. And she just sat in a coffee shop and wrote and wrote and wrote. And now Harry Potter is her key to opening the door, right? Her key to rising up into her own spiritual magnificence. This is the story of so many women. There are many, 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 many more women who we could be reminded of through their example of what it means to rise up. These are not the only ones, the ones that I've mentioned. In fact, these women in their rising up simply demonstrate what Maya Angelou talked about as phenomenal women. And most, if not all of you, have read or heard the poem many times. During this month of Women's History Month, you are going to see or hear the poem many times. But there's one little section in the poem that when I read it, I'm really connected with this idea of rising up. When Maya wrote, now you understand just why my head's not bowed. I don't shout or jump about or have to talk real loud. When you see me passing, it ought to make you proud. And then the chorus or the repeating stanza in the poem, because I'm a woman, phenomenally, a phenomenal woman. That's me. So let's go back to the young woman who is at the American Idol audition. She's a phenomenal woman. Maybe she would say she's a phenomenal woman in the making. She is rising up beyond limitation and opening the door to something bigger than she can even imagine. And that is what all of us have the opportunity to do. This young woman's name is Rhonda Felton. And her just being at the audition is an example of rising up, as I've already said. She sang a song from Dreamgirls, one that you don't really hear a lot of people using in auditions. She sang the song One Night Only. And what if we lived every day of our lives or every evening of our lives as if that was the one day, that was the only day or the only night that we would have the opportunity to achieve our goals? As I listened to her sing, I thought, yes, when I believe that this is my chance, today is my opportunity, I begin to rise up above the challenges which are also there. Like I can look over here and see a challenge, and I can look over here and see a challenge, but rising up is about going beyond those challenges and really stepping into the dream, stepping into what seems like the impossible, stepping into what seems like potential, but it's not guaranteed, right? And so she sang that song told that story in such a way that it did earn her a way to Hollywood. It earned her an opportunity to actually compete in American Idol. And when the judges told her that she had passed her audition, before they could even get the full sentence out of their mouths that she was going to Hollywood, do you know what she did? She ran off the stage and grabbed her mother, who was backstage listening, and brought her mother to center stage with her while the judges explained that she had 3 yeses and she was going to Hollywood. You see, Rhonda knew a basic about rising up that is easy to forget. She's the one who sang the song. She's the one who brought tears to Lionel Richie's eyes as she sang. But she knew that her success was not just about her. And she did not want to be on that stage accepting the credit for her accomplishment without her mom, who was also rising up to see a bigger future. Think about it. Think of a time you have risen up. You didn't do it alone, did you? Who was your cheerleader? Who was your encourager? Or if you're like me, you can think of some people who seemed like your enemy at the time, but they were really the antagonists that you needed in order to rise up to your next level of expression. All of us have people who model the way, who support the way, who show us the way, who encourage us along the way, who inspire us along the way. And that is a basic requirement if we are truly going to rise up. And often that's why we're in spiritual community together, so that we can rise up individually and we can help others rise up as well. Ernest Holmes talks about this rising up in this way. He says a number of things when he's talking about spiritual mind healing and spiritual mind treatment. And so in that chapter, there are a few quotes on pages 313, 14, 15, and 16 that I'm going to read together. He says, "We are therefore members of the universe, and being members of that which unites everything, we are some part of each other. We all have the spiritual power to raise the dead, but we do not believe we have. Our mind does not unqualifiedly accept this. So we would like to help ourselves and each other through using the law of mind. This we may do by treatment." We use spiritual mind treatment and we build spiritual community so that we can help ourselves and we can help each other rise up. And nobody reminds me of this more than Ayanla. Ayanla actually, in her first book, Tapping the Power Within, she writes near the beginning this: "You are, in essence, spirit, housed in a physical envelope, brought to life by the breath of God to fulfill a divine mission. Your mission, while different from that of all other living beings, is directed toward a common goal: harmonious interaction among all living creatures and service for the good of the universe. As spirit, you know your destiny. But in the physical form, you were given hands, feet, intelligence, and the discretion to fend for yourself. To be able to clearly understand and accomplish your mission, it is necessary to coordinate the spiritual and the physical self. So even as we look at women who are role models throughout the month of March, it applies to all of us equally. That rising up is about merging the soul and the humanity, merging the spiritual mission that we have accepted, even when we're not conscious of it, and doing something that leads us into the next level of that, the next expression of that. And a few weeks ago, Reverend Andriette talked about the importance of love thy neighbor and how that is a part of us rising up as well, that we rise up because we love. And so we rise up in our individual expression by being the expression of love. And we also help others rise up by being the expression of love in a way they can use it, they can accept it, they can understand it, and they can believe in the love that is spirit, always seeking to express and expand within them, as them, and through them. Yama also writes then at the end of the book, 2 or 3 pages from the end, when we make a commitment to rise up, this is what is happening. This is not an easy task you are about to undertake, yet it is a necessary one. You are about to alter your conscious and unconscious state. You are attempting to shift and manipulate energy. You are moving to touch the foundation of your very being. You are going to meet challenges and obstacles. You yourself are going to be the greatest obstacle you discover. So if we are all committed to rising up, we have lots of examples around us. We have lots of people we can look to. We have people who are doing it right now today in front of us, people we know, and people like Rhonda on the American Idol audition, who we don't know personally, but we see her example. But ultimately, this rising up that our ancestors have done for decades and centuries before us, this rising up that has been exemplified through survival and through the creativity of people generation after generation. This rising up in the 21st century must be done by us. And ultimately, this rising up is a journey that begins within.
We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. Yeah. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. Yeah, yeah.
In today's world especially, it's not easy to keep a center going. You know, often as a participant or a congregant or someone who's part of the community, we're not really thinking maybe about the electric bill and about all the many things it takes to keep a community together and growing. Some of you know that I am the founder of the Prosperity Plus programs 1, 2, and 3, and I know that your center has offered these programs to you. I'm a deep believer in tithing. And we all have giving patterns. Many of us give actually only emotionally. We give when we feel like we have a little extra. And then there's another kind of giving that's a regular repeated giving that comes with a percentage to it. And if it's not 10%, it's 5% or it's 6%, but it comes out of a decision to have circulation in your life. Planting in a beautiful place like the Heart and Soul Center of Light for the growth of a community that you has nurtured you, can nurture you further, and more than that, can spread this wonderful message to a world that is deeply hungering, even if they don't know yet that they're hungering for it. So I invite us on this day to lean in and make a commitment for percentage giving over the next year. And then turn around every 3 months and take a look at what's happening in your life. Something happens when you're a regular giver. And each month, as you're receiving your income, a portion of it goes to support. It changes the way you feel about yourself. It changes your level of expectation of good in your life. It changes your sense of worthiness and your connection with the very source of your life.
Hello again, family. This is Reverend Angelo, and I am just giving thanks for our sister Tracy Brown, especially where she offered that we have the opportunity to breathe forward the best of everyone. Well, that's just another way of saying we're calling into existence a world that works for everyone. And a way for you to participate in that endeavor is through your gracious giving. And here at Heart and Soul, we have several ways in which you can graciously give. You can send your gift through the mail to 5627 Telegraph Avenue, number 405, Oakland, California, 94609. You can also give on our website at heartsoulcenter.org/give. And while you're there, you might even decide to set up your gift on a recurring basis, giving automatically or as a one-time gift, however that works for you. Last but not least, and my personal favorite way of giving is to simply text the word give to 510-500-5849. However you choose to give is the right way to give. And it's important that we also maintain the proper consciousness about our giving so that our gift moves into the world with an intention for only good. So we take this opportunity to bless our good. Wherever you happen to be in the world, I invite you to take your gift in hand, or otherwise just place your hand over your heart as we say together, I bless this gift as healing energy and send it into the divine flow of all good. Infinite prosperity circulates through me, through my church, and throughout the world because I know God as source. And so it is.
Thank you, Revelo. Family, I'm just going to remind you how you can be engaged at Heart and Soul. I'm going to start by letting you know that Alameda County is letting folks know that we have some free COVID-19 vaccines available. You must live or work in Alameda County. The first is True Vine Ministries. You have to have an appointment. You can also find all the information you need by visiting. They have a Facebook page. You can also go to their website. But in order to book an appointment, to just sort of get right to it, you want to call that 510-208-4565. They may also have vaccines available at the West Oakland Senior Center. And family, both of these opportunities you need to definitely look into. The idea is that we want to make sure that none of the vaccines are going to waste. And so while there are some guidelines in places, we want to make sure that we are ensuring that they don't go to waste if some of those appointments don't get met. So make sure that you're looking into that if you are interested in getting the COVID-19 vaccine. I want to remind you that our practitioners are doing Around the Year with Emmett Fox on Monday, 6:15 p.m. Pacific time. You can visit heartsoulcenter.org/Monday review to join. On Wednesday, Imagining Justice, hosted by Valerie Joy and David, is talking about taking a look at the quote-unquote disabled community and identifying ways that we can support and empower, because we are the ones we've been waiting for. It takes place on Zoom, heartsoulcenter.org/imagining justice. On Thursdays, you want to support our sister Tammy Hall from 6 to 8 p.m. Pacific time. She is live via Facebook Live. She's an absolute virtuoso, also just a loving and kind human being. We want to spend time in her presence, and so we want to make sure that we are supporting our sister and that we are tipping generously. If you're thinking about becoming a member of Heart and Soul Center of Light, join our Path to Membership experience 2 Saturdays, March 20th and 27th, 8:30 to 11:30 a.m. Pacific time. You must attend both sessions in order to become a membership, and you can register by visiting our website. Prosperity Plus 3, Living Full Spectrum Wealth class is coming. It is an 8-week class, essentially, with Saturday sessions from 10 a.m. Pacific time to noon. There's no registration fee, but you do have to purchase materials to be able to be a part of the class. The book is Working with the Law by Raymond Hollowell. It is being presented by Janice Richmond, who is a fantastic practitioner here at Heart and Soul Center of Light, one of my favorites. And she is also a trained coach with Mary Morrissey. So she is all in the Prosperity Plus. And I know I promised you a link, but I don't have a link for you. So stay tuned for the League family. I promise there will be one coming forward so that you can register for this class. We recently moved, and if you're considering a gift for our new church home, gift cards are a great idea. You can use any of these familiar retailers, or you can check out our Amazon wish list at heartsoulcenter.org/wishlist. We are continuing to support Marcus Bookstores, the oldest independently owned Black bookstore in the country, and Kingston 11, a delicious Jamaican cuisine at the town's gathering space. We want to make sure they are still thriving and available to us, so make sure you are supporting them. Our youth and family happens on Sundays at 11:30 a.m. Pacific time for our teens. Sending emails to the pulse at heartsoulcenter.org gets access. Our young folks, ages 4 to 12, are still taking place in some asynchronous videos. heartsoulcenter.org/watchyfv is where you can find those. We're reminding you that prayer works. We do a lot of praying because it works. 10 minutes after the conclusion of our service. And Wednesdays at 7 a.m. Pacific time, there's also a 24/7 prayer line. You can call and have someone call you back. You can also send your prayer request via email. Reverend Andriette's vlog, Point of Power, can be found at YouTube, on our YouTube channel. You can get a pop anytime. And you also have the opportunity for a pop of prayer. Our Power of Prayer podcast is happening so that you can have prayer in your pocket. You can have Anchor. You can visit anchor.fm/heartsoulcenter or any of the ways in which you podcast. And I want to make sure that in Reverend Andriette's stead, we still make sure to lift up all of our family that is joining us from around the world. We're so grateful to have people. We have some folks from Spartanburg, South Carolina, St. Louis, Missouri, Boston, Massachusetts, Jackson, Mississippi, Los Angeles, Waterford, Connecticut, Detroit, Michigan, hometown, Jaco, Costa Rica, Tucson, Arizona, Aurora, Colorado, Maui, Hawaii, Sacramento, California, Salvador, Bahia, Brazil. We are grateful for all of our local folks. The Bay Area is always holding it down. We are so grateful for your presence and for your being a part of our loving community. And at this time, I will welcome back Tracy Brown.
Are you ready to rise up to your next level of spiritual magnificence? If you are, then I invite you to join me in prayer. And I want to begin with the words of Brother Reverend Dr. Homer Johnson. Let's go upstairs. Let's go upstairs into a higher consciousness. Let's go upstairs above human limitation and remember that there is only one source of life, all life. And it is seeking to express itself in, as, and through everything it creates. The spiritual magnificence of perfection is in each one present. It is in me. My words represent the experience of all of life. And I invite you to let my words be your words now. I speak this word knowing for sure that now is the time to rise up, to go upstairs into an experience that represents the divinity that is right here present now. I claim and declare that even in this time that in the human experience is described as March, as Women's History Month, it is the perfect time to see phenomenal women. It is the perfect time to free phenomenal women. And it is the perfect time to recognize that even as we look at, celebrate, and value phenomenal women, that spirit is beyond any description of gender or gender identity or gender expression. And so now is the time for all to rise up, bringing the feminine energy present and alive throughout the world and in all relationships. I rise up. I commit to rise up. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to rise up beyond any physical or human or imagined limitation. I let that go. And I replace the limitation with the truth that there is a power that is greater than me. It is available to all, and I can use it. This week, the challenge is to use that power to create a better world, a better life. Let's rise up together to do that in love, with peace, creating beauty in an unlimited abundance. Let it be, let it be, let it be. Ashe. Aho. Amin. Amen. And so it is.
Come ye